Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a Friday. It's a beautiful, beautiful Friday. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I am excited to tell you about the State of the Nation address of the President and the side stories around the SONA in today's episode of Mark Your Day. Good morning, dear friends, and I hope you are doing well today. I am not sure how your week went, but I hope that you will end it strong. It's important for us to end it strong, saying good morning to my pinakasuki, wat nay makatupong sa akong pamilya, my family in Ozamis. Good morning, the Tagarov family, the Rivera family, the Balge family, and all our relatives in Osamis, Misamis area and the Tags team. Maayong buntag kaninyong tanan. Maayong buntag. I hope you had a great week. I hope napabay mga community transmission. I hope makontrol na ang community transmission of COVID in Osamis and in other areas. Mga unta og cinnamon. Let's eat. Today I will be talking about the SONA and some trivia about the SONA. I will also be sharing with you my experience with the SONA as we discuss today's episode on Duterte's ilan na ba? This is going to be Duterte's fourth SONA. Yeah. Fourth SONA. So, before we continue with the SONA, let's hear the news first. Mag-usap muna tayo about the news. Alright, what's in the news today? Let's check what's in the news today. Okay, let's begin with some updates from the DOH. 2,200 confirmed cases. And considering that's just 76 out of 79 labs, meaning that's not even the complete result. There are more cases out there. So, what does this mean? This is far from over. 74,390 cases in total since this pandemic began in the Philippines. There are still more cases coming out of NCR, 1,546. Cebu records of 246. Next would be Laguna, Rizal, and Cavite. Good thing though, it's still a 90.1% mild cases. You have asymptomatic cases of 9%. That makes it 99.1% mild and asymptomatic. Severe 0.5% and critical 0.4%. What does this mean? I read an article shared by my kababata and neighbor Romel Acebal. Romel shared this article telling us that this data might even be good as long as we don't get overwhelmed. Some people would interpret this as something good because when there are more cases and many of them don't get seriously ill, only very few get seriously ill because still the death rate in the Philippines is just 3%, way below the global average, which is good. So what's happening here is many people are catching the virus but they're not really getting seriously sick. Hindi sila nagkakasakit. So meaning more people are developing the immunity against this virus. And if communities are filled with people who are immune to the virus, madidevelop yung tinatawag na herd immunity. The virus will just bounce off people because people are immune to the virus. Sabi ng ilan, for countries that have been very, very strict with their control of the spread of the virus, if it reappears, the chances are it could spread again. Unlike now, for example, in a community where people catch the virus but did not really get seriously sick, then that community develops immunity. Now, the next question is, ano namang epekto nito sa ating syempreng healthcare system? Yun naman yung mahirap. So as long as, but I read this news article also the other day that says that we have increased the capacity. Actually, I read it from the DOH site. The country has increased the capacity for handling these cases significantly in the last 3 months. We have done such a great work in expanding our capacity that if you read the report of DOH, hindi siya nagkukulang. So, meaning we're okay. So the reports of major hospitals running out of bed spaces because they're limiting the bed spaces they're allocating for COVID. But the total number of capacity is still way more than the number of cases. So we can handle this. That's according to the DOH. But that's, again, still not a reason for us to be complacent. We should continue to be mindful of our movements and what we do with our masks. So palakpakan po natin yung ating mga taga-DOH for doing their job, and I hope that yes, this continues to be the trend, that you have many mild cases but very few serious and severe cases. Okay, next up, let's look at the headlines from the big dailies. Excuse me. Let's begin with the Manila Standard since it's related to the DOH report we just read. It says cases nearing dreaded number. It has grown significantly. It has already breached 70,000 cases. It could reach 100,000 if we don't stop it. And because the DOH sees a significant trend there, because there have been 2,000 cases for the third time in a week. Unlike before na pa isa-isa lang yun, we cannot continue, we cannot be complacent. Good morning, Tito Gilbert Lazaro. Okay. Oh, you caught that. Thank you very much. All right. So let's continue with the news. Ang sabi nga that the death rate is below 3%, so that's good. But for many cases that in the country, it's still increasing, particularly in NCR. So Senator Gatchalian is saying we cannot really lock down the economy. Again, it's really up for the LGUs. And it's important for us to improve the capacity of our healthcare system to take care of the patients. And I believe the DOH would tell us that we have increased the capacity of our healthcare system. Importante lang naman na kung merong maging serious or maging talagang critical, maalagaan ng maayos na it can be cared for. If we could keep the numbers really low dun sa nagiging critical at serious, at yung konting-konti lang sana wala nang mamatay, then that's a good talagang accomplishment for the DOH. Good morning, Ate Nenen and the Ojales family from Dumaguete. Good morning kaninyong tanan. Thank you very much for watching. So that's, you know that image? There's a big pivot in, the US is coming back to Asia Pacific. They're doing joint military exercises with Japan, with Australia. So meaning, hindi natin alam itong geopolitics. COVID, China, the trade war, Trump in the US wants to win another term. So kailangan nila maghanap ng rason para bumango agad si Trump. So These are what you call games by the superpowers of the world, and I hope us na maging safe tayo. Kaya si Duterte is trying to play it safe, trying to be friends with America, trying to be friends with Russia, trying to be friends with China and Japan, as well as our neighbors here, because we're really a small country, developing country. We can't afford to participate in those war games or even war talk. So yeah, we need to be wise in managing our affairs. That's the headline coming from the Manila Standard. Okay, next up, Philippine Star. Ito ang medyo interesting. Bantag, I can be replaced. Who is Bantag? Bantag is the Bucor chief. He is the head of the Bureau of Corrections. Good morning, Kuya Steve Arquiza and the Arquiza family from Davao. You know what? I hope I could visit you soon, Kuya Steve, and our friends from Davao. Mingaw na ko sa Davao. Mingaw na ko sa atong syudad. I hope I could visit soon and things go back to normal. Bantag, I can be replaced if there's no trust. The DOJ chief says it's up to the president because the president appointed him directly. It was not the DOH secretary who appointed Bantag. So if the president wants him out, he will be out. But what's clear is there are investigations that will be conducted. Senator Soto, Senator Gordon are calling for investigations. And even the NBI is investigating this situation because it's clear people are suspecting either these people were killed, the high-profile inmates were killed, or they were allowed to escape. Were they allowed to escape? I was talking to Trisha before airing. She says she's watched so many suspense drama to know that this was so easy. I said, they might have entered the body bags. And when they entered the body bags, they were brought to the morgue. At dun sa morgue, dun sila nag-escape. Sabi ni Trisha, ang yayaman ng mga yan. Gusto mo sabihin ikaw? Gusto mo co-host na kita dito? Ang yayaman daw ng mga ito, she doesn't think that they would enter a body bag. They would just pay people off. Pretend that there's a body bag there, but they're really hiding in the car. That's one speculation. But this Banta guy says, what, am I the devil? Am I the devil to kill all of them? It's not true, all of this speculation. So he's denying all of these talk that they were either killed or allowed to escape. But still, madaming questions. Ako, personal question ko lang is, when people over-talk, when people talk too much to defend themselves, legally it's a sign that they're lying. Because a person who's telling the truth will just say, no. But once the person tries to cover his tracks and find reasons to go scot-free, yan yung sign or isang sign in trial practice dati pag nagko-cross-examine kami na nagsisinungaling yung tao. So anong ibig kong sabihin? Yung nagsasabi pa siya na hindi daw nila i-release yung pangalan dahil dun sa Data Privacy Act. Anong sabi ng mga senador dyan? Anong data privacy? Anong data privacy or your privacy of the person? The privacy of the person talks about the person who's alive. Because it's the right of a person who needs to be protected because he's still alive. But if we're talking about dead people, these are already facts. They become a death statistic. The number of deaths, the number of births. Those are recorded in a national registry. The problem with Bantag is he did not report. Good morning, Bangkairen Lonids. Sino kaya ito? Alam nyo kayo mga nagpapalit ng pangalan sa Facebook? Talagang kayo talaga. Sino yan? Anong totoong pangalan nito? Yung mga kaibigan ko, sometimes I can't identify them, cannot say hi properly because you change your names on Facebook. Why do you have to change your name? Okay, so good morning. So ito nga, just going back to the kwento, when people talk too much, ganun din po sa ating mga kaibigan, when people start to defend and cover their tracks, that's a sign that meron silang tinatakpan. Kasi kapag wala ka naman tinatakpan, you can just be straight to the point and deny. And let your demeanor, let your intention speak for you. Pero pag maraming rason, maraming kwento, ayay, nagsisinungaling yan. Alright, good morning, Kuya David Flororita. He says, I attended your talk when I was still with Mega World. Yes, thank you very much for dropping by, David. Saan ka na nagtatrabaho ngayon? I hope you're doing well. Watching from the regional center of Western Mindanao in Pagadian. Hello, good morning sa atong mga amigo diha sa Pagadian. Jai Santos also of Malayan Insurance. Good morning. Kuya Hector, my favorite Kuya Hector Villegas. Kuya Hec, sana makabalik na tayo sa ating mga workshops, Kuya Hec. Buti na lang, Kuya Hec, nakapag-last tayo dun sa Boracay, di ba? It gives us the hope that we will go back to normal. Na-enjoy mo ba yun, Kuya Hec? Nami-miss mo ba yun, Kuya Hec? Post mo nga ulit, Kuya Hec, yung picture mo yung nandun ka sa beach. You were shooting a video dun sa beach. Post mo nga ulit yon. Good morning to Ate Cecilia Labustro, Kuya Vincent Rodriguez, and my favorite Manoy Randy Campos from, how do you read that? Sihanoukville, Cambodia. Alright. So, napakaganda po ng ating simula, pero hindi po maganda para dyan kay Bantag. I hope they really investigate. They're saying they will investigate. Sana hindi po yan ganyan-ganyan lang kasi these are high-profile inmates. And if they really died because of COVID, assuming that he's telling the truth, granting him the benefit of the doubt, I pray they all, would you say rest in peace? But ang Diyos na ang bahala sa kanila. Okay, so, news yan coming from the Philippine Star. Last but not the least, let's talk about the news from the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Sino pa ba dito? Tara, punta na tayong Boracay, Kuya Hec. Kuya Hector and I did a workshop for a company in Boracay just before all of this crazy COVID started, and we had a wonderful time there. We spent how many days there, Hec? Around 5 days in wonderful Boracay with wonderful workshop. We spent time at the beach. We just sat on the sand. It was just chill. It was nice. And those events and experiences make you look forward to days normalizing, and I really hope we could go back to those normal days. Good morning, Pastor Aldwin Likod. Good morning, Pastor. God bless the ministry. Good morning, Ate Josie C. Good morning sa ating mga kababayan. All right, Block pushes entire House vote on ABS-CBN franchise. What does this news article tell us? Yung block na yan, that means the Macbayan block. Yung mga progresibong mga party list groups sa Kongreso. They're saying that they sent a letter to the committee asking the committee to elevate the issue of ABS-CBN to the plenary na pagbobotohan dun sa plenaryo ng karamihan ng mga kongresista. This block alleges that the grounds used by the committee were not firm. That's why it's important for the House as a whole to talk about it, to vote on it, whether to grant them a franchise. Because yan po yung, okay, ang sistema po kasi sa Pilipinas is it goes through there's a sponsor and it goes through a committee. Meron pa yung usual subcommittee, and then you have technical working groups, and then they work it out. They hear the bill, they call for the hearings. So yung mga congressional hearings, ang nagpapatawag po niyan, yung mga specific committee. So yung ito specifically was the franchise committee. lahat ng humihingi ng prangkisa, kasi sa Pilipinas, if you're using government resource, ano bang resource? Government resource. So for example, you're a mining company, kailangan mong prangkisa. If you are a telecommunications company, kailangan mo ng prangkisa. If you are a TV company, kailangan mo ng prangkisa. Bakit? You're using airwaves. You're using dedicated airwaves. Meron kasing airwaves yan. May signal. And so, if that airwave is assigned to you, channel 2, which is one of the most powerful airwaves because it's been traditionally the main airwave so bibigay yan. So, you have 2, channel 4 is PTV, and then you have TV5, and then you have GMA7, diba? So 2 was assigned to ABS. So yung walang ibang gagamit ng signal na yan. So that's why a franchise has to be granted for the use of that particular signal of the airwaves. Ang block na ito is asking for that issue to be elevated to the plenary as a whole. Pero we're a system of rules, kaya dun siya napunta sa committee. Itong committee na ito voted to deny. 70 members voted to deny. Madaming members ang nag-vote to deny the application of ABS-CBN. And among the reasons cited by the committee in denying is the questionable citizenship of Mr. Lopez. Kasi bawal po ang ownership and management of a TV company na sa foreigners. Kailangan Pinoy. Yung si Eugenio Lopez ay allegedly an American, pero he did not appear in Congress. Pangalawa is the use of the PDRs or yung depository receipts, na ibig sabihin yung shares, meron silang mga investors abroad, hindi talaga owner, but there's a mechanism whereby an owner can invest in a company dito sa Pilipinas without being an owner technically. So ang sinasabi ng kongresista, that might be violative of the Constitution. Yung pangatlong sinabi doon sa technical working group ay yun daw tax avoidance at yung paggamit ng dummy companies. Kaya mababa yung binayaran na buwis dahil nagkaroon ng tax avoidance. Konti lang ang naibayad nila sa Pilipinas. Labor practice ng ABS nabanggit din doon. So yun yung sinite ng technical working group that became the basis for the decision of ABS. And in our system and laws, yung committee's prerogative to weigh those, pag sinabi nilang dehado ang Pilipinas dito, hindi ito beneficial, hindi namin igagrant. Anong ibig sabihin na hindi namin igagrant sa ABS? Ibig sabihin yung signal na yon pwede nilang ibigay sa iba. Ganun yon. So, it's a prerogative. That's how our system works. So, ganun talaga yung ating kailangan gawin. Kung gusto mong mas iba yung resulta, yung congressman na ihahalal natin, dapat ibang klase din mag-isip. Okay? At ang sinasabi nitong block na ito, na hindi yun sapat yung basis na yun. Those are unfirm. Hindi siya sure. Hindi siya talagang convinced na yung sila na yun yung magiging magandang basihan para i-deny yung application ng ABS. So, if that, sabi naman ni Speaker Cayetano, well, the plenary can actually. Is it possible? Yes. Is it usual? No. Is it normal? No. Is it possible? Yes, because Congress can actually create their own rules. They have the power to create their own internal rules. So kung sasabihin nilang, okay, the plenary votes to take that decision and review it sa plenary as a whole, can they do that? Yes, they can do that. But is that usual? No. Because usually pag merong application, franchise, pag na-deny ka dun sa committee level, tapos ang buhay mo. So, anong paraan? Either people's initiative, the entire country you'll gather signatures and you'll put it to vote, referendum, and then people will now tell Congress, give franchise. Yun yung one. Pangalawa, itong sinasuggest nila, which I think is very creative. Bring it up to the plenary for voting. The entire house acting as a whole committee. So, hindi ko alam. So, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung laban ng ABS dyan sa House of Representatives. Alright. Good morning, everyone. Tita Fe Fernandez. Sino pa ba nandito? Let's greet other friends. Ate Rahaifa, of course. Ate Rahaifa Sasuke. Muammer. From General Santos. Maing buntag. Good morning, everyone. Alright. You know what? Marami akong kwento because, you know what? For those who have followed this show since the beginning, this is our 17th episode. Usually, there are only 16 shows in one season. So, this is actually the end, technically, of the season. It ended actually last Wednesday. So, this is already an extra day to our season. Just to finish the week. So, I've been thinking what to do with the show. It's a challenge to sustain a thrice weekly show. Thinking about topics to talk about, preparing how to present, asking my wife to wake up in the morning to prepare the news. Oh, my dear family from Alberta, Canada, they're watching. To Arnel, NN, Zuri, and Zaya. Good morning, kids. Welcome to the Tito Mark Castroda show. They call me Cockles. It was started by Ryan Medina because he can't pronounce uncle. He said Cockles. She said Cockles. So Ryan called me Cockles. And since then, I've been called Cockles. Yes. Good morning to my family there. Let's eat cinnamon. And excellent coffee from Atok Benguet. Sarap nitong kape nito. Alright. What will we do with the show moving forward? Yes, Tito Mel-chan, a guest once a week. There will be, I'm thinking one day will be a guest day. We will interview a game. Tapos Tito Vince Rodriguez suggests that there should be games to wrap up the season. Let's see. And then probably we could review a book. Those are a few of the ideas. Oy! Mamang! Ayunos watching. Mayong buntag, mang. Mayong aga sa inyong mga taga Alberta, Canada, who are really mga Ilonggos from Mindanao. So, good morning, mang. So yes, we're thinking of how to make the show better. Yes, we might have guests and we will be calling on guests as we do this show better. You think I should continue this show? Who says I should continue this show? Sige nga, meron ba tayong talagang naniniwala that this show needs to continue but we need to improve things? Good morning, Tita Lizelle Balyangaw. Yes. So, we're studying. I'm not sure if we will air straight Monday, but there might be a show Monday, but we want to do things better. So let's see. Ate Colleen, good morning. Apple, continue the show. Michelle, continue the show. Let's see. Kasi yung iba hindi naman nagsasalita eh. Nanunood daw sila but they're not commenting. So I'm not sure if people are really watching, because if it's just me and Kuya Mel Chan and the Tagaro family and Tito Vince and Tito Vlogs, mag-zoom call na lang kami. Magkukwentuhan na lang kami in the morning. We don't have to air live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But if there's something good that's coming out of this, and if you think that this should continue, well, we will continue. Okay? So, what will I talk about next? Here's what's interesting. It will be Duterte's SONA, his fourth SONA on Monday. So let's talk about the State of the Nation address. All right, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng State of the Nation address? Kuya, okay. I'm hearing feedback from friends. Yes, Tita Jenny Salvador says we should continue. Tita Jeng is a neighbor. Sino pa bang nagtanaw bisan wala comment. Si Michelle, yes, thank you very much. Ate Rohaifa says continue. My friend Tata from Surigao says continue. Okay. Sige. But how do you sustain this moving forward? Do we move this over to YouTube so we could monetize this? Kasi having this format, itong software na ito, this is a paid account. So there's some expense that goes into this. So let's see how to be more wise in running this show. Okay? So yun po yung challenge. So let's talk about the SONA. The State of the Nation Address, let me just tell you a bit of trivia. The State of the Nation Address started way back even during the Commonwealth time. Kasi ito yung parang kinopya lang din ito sa State of the Union Address. There was a time where yung head na Governor General of the Philippines when we were under the Americans just needed to submit a written report about what's happening in this country to our colonial masters, the Americans. So yun po yung nangyayari during the time of the Commonwealth. And then when after the 1973 Constitution was put together, the Commonwealth Constitution, nagkaroon na ng State of the Nation Address. At sila who's the first, sila mga presidente in the past used to deliver the SONA in the fourth Monday of January. Itong SONA before, sa January po ito. So usually last Monday ng January kasi fourth Monday ng January.
Gap na?
Huh?
May gap ka na ba?
Yeah. Yeah, what's interesting. So, this used to be done in the last Monday of the month of January. Tapos, pag noong tuloy-tuloy lang yon na ganun yung schedule. And another interesting trivia, yung si President Quirino, there was a time that he did not deliver it live. I think it's one of the few times, if not the only time, that it was not delivered live in Congress because he was undergoing surgery in the US. So, and it was the time for him to deliver his fourth Monday of January State of the Nation address. So, they had to beam him live through a radio broadcast from America over at the Batasang Pambansa or in Congress. So, that was during the time of Quirino. And after that, during the time of Marcos, ito's actually during the time of Marcos na nailipat dito sa 4th Monday of July. Hindi na January, dito na sa July. Nilipat na nila yan sa 4th Monday of July. It still parang reminds us of our American connection because July, 4th of July, it's still very American, but we have somehow localized or adapted this SONA to be more Filipino. How did we make this Filipino? We made this Filipino by requiring people to wear a barong. Yan. Do you know, I used to host the SONA. I actually hosted all of the SONAs during the time of Pinoy. During the time of President Noy, I hosted, together with a co-host, which I will be telling you in a bit, the SONA. So itong mga SONA na ito, we used to practice and rehearse, and it was nice to be wearing our nice barongs, and we would, because we were the official coverage of the SONA, we had access to the Batasan complex itself. So we were broadcasting right there from the Batasan complex, and we were the only channel. So they got the feed, the raw feed, all the other channels, but they couldn't set up shop or their own broadcast in the Batasan. We were the only ones right there in the Batasan. So we would go there 2 or 3 times before the actual SONA and would rehearse, because traditionally the SONA of the president starts at 4 p.m. 4th Monday of July, 4 p.m. Traditionally, yun po talaga, alas 4 ng hapon, doon yung speech ng presidente. There's a whole list of tradition that the president arrives there and then he goes to the back door, and through the back door entrance he will be granted military honors there. And then he will be fetched by leaders. Ang dami yan usually. And then he will be brought to an office at the back of the Batasan Plenary Hall called the PLLO office. Ano po yung PLLO office? Usually yun yung holding room. Pagdating niya, dun muna siya dadalhin sa PLLO office. Yung PLLO office is the Presidential Legislative Liaison Officer or Office. Presidential Legislative Liaison. Ito yung tao, secretary cabinet level, that would be sent there. So during the time of President Noy, it was Secretary Mamba who would welcome him and bring him over to the PLLO office, and that's where he will wait. And while he is waiting there, the Senate will convene and will do their stuff. No, the congressmen will convene, and then at exactly around before 4 o'clock, the president will now officially walk out onto the plenary hall, and then they will open officially the State of the Nation address. Okay. Bakit po yan mahalaga? Because that's the time for the president to report to the people what the status is of the country, and also to communicate his what you call legislative agenda. Kung ganito na yung status ng ating bansa, remember, the president executes. But the power of the purse, kung meaning sino yung nagbabudget ng pera ng bansa, hindi po ang presidente. Ang presidente hindi makakagalaw kung wala yung budget. Sinong gagawa ng budget? Sinong gagawa ng mga batas? Congress. That's why the president goes there to report ano nang nangyari, saan tayo papunta, ito yung mga priorities natin, pakibudgetan nyo ito, pakigawan nyo ito ng ganito ganyan. So yun sana yung essence ng State of the Nation address. Kumbaga para bang nagso-SWOT analysis ka, you will tell them about your threats, your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Parang iso-SWOT mo yung Congress. Ikukwento mo sa Congress kung ano yung nangyayari, and then seek their support so that they will give you the fuel, yung bala, yung budget, yung law, yung infrastructure, legislative infrastructure para makagalaw yung presidente. Ganun yung dynamics ng ating bansa. Okay? Before I continue, let's say hi muna. Jane Mendoza, shout out naman. Mega World Corporation, good morning to our Mega World Corporation friends. I hope to see you soon. Okay, so ganun po yung SONA. Tapos, nung nagsona yan si Ramos, si Erap, si Gloria, I remember distinctly yung bangkang papel, SONA. And then Pinoy had several SONAs na were actually very close to tradition. Pinoy and the team were observing tradition. Itong si Duterte doesn't like any of those traditions. He didn't even like to read his speech. So usually ina-assess yung quality ng speech, yung content, yung delivery, all of those have been thrown out of the window because Duterte didn't want that kind of a traditional approach to the SONA. It's steeped in tradition, but the president has his prerogatives. He may not follow tradition. He followed the movement tradition, but when he came to his speech, Duterte just didn't want all the trappings of tradition there. Gloria did, and then... Okay, so, content trivia ulit. So, when I was hosting the SONA, I had the blessing to co-host with... Look at this photo. You see this photo? This was a 2012 SONA. You notice who the guests are? Congressman Evardone from Samar. Beside Congressman Evardone was Congressman Joel Villanueva. Beside Congressman Joel Villanueva was then private sector advocate Bam Aquino, coming from Hapinoy and other private groups. And then Congressman Sunny Angara. They were not senators yet. This was, remember, July of 2012. Election po ng 2013. That's why they were all there. They were trying. It was nice because they were really putting their best foot forward during this interview. They were really trying to shine. Why? Because they were running for office. And what's nice is actually all three of them won. Senator Angara is now brilliant senator. Bam was a senator from 2013 all the way to 2018. Joel Villanueva is still a senator. But what's interesting about this, guess who was my co-host? Sige nga, whoever can guess who was my co-host, I was this guy here. This is your friend Mark. And who was my co-host? Sige nga, whoever can guess gets palakpak. Guess who was my co-host in 2012? Sino ang aking co-host noong 2012? Walang makakahula. My co-host in 2012 was, ipalakihin ko Who's that? You see it better? My co-host in 2012. No, not Cathy Sangerbel. Okay, I'll make it even bigger. Let's cover the entire screen. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Catriona Gray daw. Ito daw si Kuya Randy. At Kuya Ali is correct. It was actually Congresswoman Lucy Torres Gomez. Such a wonderful lady. Soft-spoken, spoke very good, very well. Brilliant person. And she's doing very well now. She's doing very well now as a congresswoman. And I believe if she runs for senator, she might win. So I had the honor to be the co-host of the beautiful and smart woman from the Visayas, Lucy Torres Gomez. But Congressman Lucy was a challenge to co-host with kasi she was very tall. So the director said, Mark, it's so hard for you to be co-host of Lucy because you're so short. Why are you so short? I said, what can I do? I'm really short. Sabi niya, you're limiting my camera shots. You're limiting my camera angles. All I can do is you both seated because I can't even ask you to stand. You midget. I had a funny director in Ed Finland and others who kept teasing me and taunting me about my height. But that was part of I think I co-hosted with Lucy for about 2 years, and then after that they gave me a new co-host. My new co-host was just the perfect co-host for me. Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera D. Because Congressman Bernadette Herrera D was also a not so tall lady, so we were just the right height to be co-hosts. And Cathy had to man the floor there because Cathy is also a very tall lady. You are all tall. She's tall. Si Congressman Bernadette D, I co-hosted with her for the rest of the SONAs of the president, Pinoy. So there, it was BH. That was my co-host. There's what's interesting about the SONA is also it gives you an opportunity to talk to wonderful people. Talk to wonderful people. Of this panel, look at me here. I was with BH. But what I really love about this interview, because I was interviewing one of my favorite writers growing up. I read many of his articles. Guess who one of the panelists was? Sino yung isa sa panelist? That guy on the right. Can you guess who this guy is? This guy here? The guy here in the corner? I had the joy of interviewing Conrad de Quiros. I hope he's well. I hope he's still healthy. I heard he had a medical issue a couple of years back, but I did get to interview, and this is two famous columnists. Their names just escape me now, but having those deep conversations with them is such a joy, such an honor. It's my desire to do interviews like those in this show. You think it's possible? You think I should invite people to be in the show and really talk about interesting things with them and you just chat by myself here? Yes, we should do that, right? Should I do that next week? Let's see. So yes, it gave me an opportunity to interview PDI columnist Conrad De Quiros. All right. And then during that SONA, I had the opportunity to work with wonderful people, Kathy San Gabriel, Robert Tan, and our producer, and the lady who was really in charge of all of those because she was our boss from PCOO, Ten Mariano, who used to work with ABS, such a wonderful professional. So I missed working with these people. I miss the excitement of the SONA. There's so much excitement, but just to be part of that whole activity is really a joy. So I hope they're all doing well now. Ma'am Ten, Kathy, and Robert, I hope they're all safe even in this pandemic. Finally, before the SONA, we used to do a lot of mga forum. May itong mga fora na nagaganap before the SONA. So in the run up to the SONA, merong mga special forum. Ito yung PTV special forums. I co-hosted that with Kathy and Gio Tingson. Gio Tingson's brilliant young man, brilliant lawyer. And we had so many wonderful discussions about government and society and leadership and how that impacts the future of this country. I know there are still shows about those on PTV and other shows, and I hope you catch those, and I hope we get the opportunity to talk about those things. I'll see if I could do a live. What, you think we should cover the SONA live in this show? Would you watch with me? What if we have the SONA right here in the screen? We plaster it live, we stream it live, and then we will talk about it. What do you think? We will comment about the State of the Nation address of Duterte. You want to do that? If I get 20 people saying yes, we'll do that on Monday. That's 4 o'clock on Monday. If we could do that, maybe we can. If he comes on time. He usually does. He usually starts on time, but whether he does his speech well is another question. So let's see if we could cover the SONA live right here. Okay? Let's see. Maybe Monday. Let's see if reaction video style. Yes, reaction video style. I agree, Kuya Tata. And if we could have some guests over, then it should be very, very fun. Tama, no? So we'll do our own special Mark Your Day SONA coverage episode here in the Team Arete studio. Let's see. That's a good idea. Let's see. All right. I hope we can execute that. I don't know how to do that though. How do I attach a live video feed to here? Because I just need to move like that. And then we will attach that video over here. And then while you're watching with me, we can talk about it and you can comment and we can just have fun, right? And maybe bring our own beverage while we're watching the SONA. What do you think about that, Mami Sarah? Last year, he started about 2 hours late. Yes, he did start late. My goodness. Oh, he did start late. That's correct. That means I did not watch last year. Okay, so if I want to do it live, we have to wait. So we'll see. I'll have to discuss that with my team. My brilliant team, which is composed of Trisha. That's my team. So let's see how we can do that. Zoom screen share. I'm not sure if Zoom is the best platform for it, Mami Sarah, but we'll see. We'll study it over the weekend. And if you have suggestions, please send me a message. Okay? 8 a.m. the next day. But 8 a.m. the next day is already Tuesday. And we don't have Mark Your Day on Tuesdays. We'll see. Okay? So, that's it for our SONA trivia content. We hope that Duterte would give us an update on where the country is going. What are the plans? Because he should be talking about his legacy already at this point, because he's down to the last few months. It's just under 24 months until his departure from Malacanang. So it's going to be another administration. That's what I talked about actually yesterday. I gave a talk about how to become Christians in nation building. you know what, you need to check if you are posting because you just hate Duterte or you're posting because you really want to contribute, because Duterte will go. He will go. In a few months, he will be out of Malacanang and we will still be with this country. And so how do we really help build this country? As we do our day-to-day work, how are we making sure that the future is better? Because it's not enough that we just criticize and post comments on social media. We have to do something more. Remember, before there's no social media, and Korea, Japan, and others were able to build their countries to where they are today. So how can we become better Christians in building this nation? Not just commenting on social media, but that was what I was talking about last night with some youth leaders. All right, let's move on to the last segment. What's trending? All right, so what's trending, my friends? Before I talk about what's trending, I'd like to say hi to kay Renisa Bayabao and her nephew Jihan, her niece Jihan, because if you've been my friend for a while, you know my long struggle with my cell phone. I had this really, really old iPhone, and I had been refusing to upgrade my phone for the longest time. My staff, my wife, my friends were just so irritated with me because I kept complaining about my phone, but I just didn't want to buy because I felt that it could still work. And it did work until the past 3 days where my phone just wouldn't charge anymore, and it was already a challenge it was consuming so much of my time just trying to find the right angle for it to charge. So it was such a headache the past how many days, until yesterday I succumbed to the need to buy a phone. So I have a new phone. It's a beautiful phone. It's not the iPhone Pro. It's actually an old phone. And I got it from my mga pagariakan sa Green Hills. From my friends from Green Hills. Kay Renisa Bayabao is a long friend, old friend from MSU. And she referred me to her niece Jihan. So if you need friends you can trust, si Kai also sells Maranao delicacies, and Kai also sells pearls and beads. So if you need pearls, jewelry, give me a call. I will refer you to Kai Runisa and to Jihan if you need cell phone. So thank you very much, Jihan, for this beautiful, beautiful phone. For the price that is 1/3 of its original price, it's very, very cheap compared to the newer phones, but it's still as beautiful. It looks very nice, so I am very happy. So yung aking pagiging matipid na tupad siya dahil bumili ako ng second hand na phone, pero maganda pa rin siya at gumagana pa rin siya parang bago. So thank you very much to my friends from Green Hills. Good morning, Ate Elma Ropeta from Diwa Publishing and the Diwa Group. Thank you for dropping by. To my brother-in-law, Vince Medina, good morning. Tito Vince, let's talk about what's trending. You know what's trending that's very sad? Yung mga namimeke ng rapid test. Alam niyo yung mga namimeke ng rapid test? Bumibili ng mga peking rapid test results para makabiyahe, para makabalik sa trabaho. Kayo po ay nagpapalala ng situation. If you want to post about it, please help everyone condemn this practice, kasi pwede mong pekiin yung ibang bagay. Pag pinipeke mo itong rapid test results, you are helping this pandemic get worse. Imagine, pati ba naman yun pipikiin natin? Pinipeke natin diploma, pinipeke natin pera, pati ba naman yung rapid test results? When did it happen? Who's doing this? I hope they investigate. But you know, there's really no need for an investigation if people have the in the right mind know that this is just not gonna help at all. So we here at Mark Your Day speak against this practice. Let us stop this practice of producing fake documents in this country, especially faking the test results for COVID, because we are all in this together. Hindi lang po kayo. Hindi lang po kayo, tayong lahat po are in this pandemic together. And if we don't do it right, we will all continue to suffer. So hindi po pwedeng ang pamamaraan natin shortcut pa rin. Kagaya sa pamamaraan sa politika, hindi pwedeng ang solusyon sa problema ng Pilipinas palitan yung presidente. Hindi po solusyon yun. Because ang presidente is kapahagi lang. It's just a small part of the entire governmental machinery. You've all realized, even now, I've worked with government for the longest time. Kahit sino pang presidenteng ilagay mo dyan, kung ang mga tao sa customs, ang tao sa LTO, ang tao sa BIR, ang tao sa immigration, ang tao sa DA, ang tao sa Department of Works, ang tao sa National Irrigation Authority, at ang mga tao sa local government units, all the way to the barangay, kung lahat yan nangungupit, na lahat nangungurap, kahit sino pang ilagay mong presidente. So the solution is not to oust Duterte. The solution is to raise a group of people within our citizenry who will enter public service, and whenever there's a corruption, they will say no. 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 Pagdadami ang mga taong nagsasabi ng no, parang merong herd immunity. Hindi tatagos ang corruption, and before you know it, a great number of people would say, we will do it right. When will that happen? If we do our jobs right as parents, as church members, as citizens, as teachers. That's why we do talk shows like this. That's why we try to help one another, improve in the way we do things. Because if we don't, as a nation, work together to build a generation of Filipinos who will be upright and moral and just and honest, kahit sino pang manalo sa 2022, mahihirapan pa rin tayo. So, that's it for today. I hope you had a wonderful time spent here. Cheers, my friends. By the way, I just released a new batch of coffee, Atok Benguet. The first batch was from Sultan Kudarat. The next batch was from Mount Apo. This time around, we have Atok Benguet. Really, really yummy coffee. If Sultan Kudarat was really chocolatey, if Mount Apo was really fruity, this one is a little bit in between those two. You might want to try it. So, for the plans for Mondays, mark your day. If we will do a SONA coverage, we will announce in our Facebook page. I hope you follow that. And dear friends, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay safe always. Tonight, I will be doing a talk for another company. I hope you say a prayer for me that I would do well in inspiring and motivating others to believe in the future of this country. Don't get tired of doing good, because we will reap if we do not give up. God bless. Stay safe. See you soon. See you Monday.